Hello everybody. In this episode, I'm going to be adding the drag and drop functionality to Pylenium. For the quick TLDR, because it's kind of a long one, as of version 1.6.1, Pylenium now includes the drag and drop functionality. You have a drag to and drag to element function or command. You can see the examples of the functions like right meow. It's around me here somewhere, the code is there. The rest of the video, though, is a condensed version of how I became the mayor of Struggle City. As I tried to add the drag and drop functionality, it was not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Only continue with the video if you'd like to see a grown man try to hold back tears as he doubts his very existence with code. If you like to watch others suffer with code, then this is the video for you, and I would also suggest following me on Twitch and Twitter. Thank you very much and enjoy. Okay, so I think the very last thing that I had, unless you guys have any other questions for me, was adding drag and drop. So I don't actually know how to do this. So if you guys do, that would be awesome. Otherwise, I was just going to add this to Pylenium real quick because people at Workfront are needing this functionality. So I was going to add it and then push it up, and that was about it. So. No, the first thing I need to do is I need to find a place where I can test this. So I hope that the internet Heroku, this one. So we've used this website in a few challenges now, and they got some good stuff. Do they have drag and drop? Oh, perfect, right here. Oh, it's alphabetized. So drag and drop. So I don't want to do... Oh, okay. So this is what we want to do right here. So I'll use this website just to test it and make sure that I have it right. So inspect, you have column A, here's column B. When I do this, they switch order. Draggable. So the header changes to put B here. The headers change. Okay, so that's how I can make sure that the drag and drop was successful. Excellent. Let's go to tests, test element actions. I want to drag and drop. Let's do drag to. So py.visit, we want to go here. And then we want to do something like py.get. We want to get that element and then we want to drag it to the other one. I want to be able to say element.drag2, but then we pass in another element. So I need to have two different drag to methods then. I need to have one where I can just drag to and pass in the string for the CSS. Or just find the element and then pass in an element. So either pass in a string or pass in the element. Okay. So this one is ID column A and then column B. All right. So hashtag column A, and we'd like to drag it to column B. Then I want the same exact thing. I want the same functionality, but with element instead. So we'll say column B. Column B is equal to py.get, and this is just column B. Something like that. So we want both of these to work. And then from there, the way that we know it works is column B would then have the header. So assert that column B would have text, and I think it's just a capital A, right? So here, column B, py.get I want column, keep doing that, column B, and then the header. So now that we have that, this helps me kind of know A, what I want to call the thing, B, what the behavior should look like, the arguments I need to use or that I'd like to use, and then ultimately we got to make these things pass, right? So I'm going with a very, it's pretty TDD, I would say. It's a pretty test-driven approach, but I like doing this, have my tests first. I'm not going to run it to make sure it fails because I know it's going to fail. But now we want to get this functionality in, so perfect. Inside of Pylenium, we'll go into element because this is all off of the element class. Oops. All right. So drag the current element to another element given its CSS selector. Okay. And then from there, we're going to return. Currently, we're returning the current element. Okay, and now comes the part where we need to figure out how to, I actually don't know how to drag and drop. I've never had any reason to. So let's go Python, Selenium, drag and drop. I'm sure there's lots of information on this. Pylenium, Selenium WebDriver right here. Thanks, Edurica. I'm assuming it's action chains. Yep, good old action chains. I have verified this does in fact work on Mac. Cool. So action chains, drag and drop. Oh, well, there you go. Just action chains. All right. All right, so action chains. I already have it because I have it for other stuff like hover. We need the py.webdriver, self.py.webdriver. There we go. And these are right here in our hover. I'm using it as well. Right, so here's action chains to hover. So cool. So they have a drag and drop. Say what? Well, that makes it easy. The source and the target. The element to mouse down. The element to mouse up. So these are elements. So they have to be element objects. So drag and drop, we need to have a source first, which would be self.webElement, and then we need the element that we're going to get. So I need to hold this in something. Let's say 2element is equal to py.get self.py.get, and we'll just pass in that CSS. Okay, so this is going to grab that element that I want to move to, and it'll move it to it. So to element. And then we're going to return self. Def drag to element, which would look super similar, but this would be element. Yeah, would be the element and okay. So let me just copy all this real quick. Very, very similar. Drag the current element to another element. To the given element. Ooh. Let's shift tab a couple times. The current element. I didn't do args in the last one, so let's do that. So element. Okay. Do args. This is CSS. This is the CSS selector. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so the two elements is just this element. And let's just call this one 2element as well. So now I already have the element, so I don't need to do the py.get at all. Just drag to this element. Let me get rid of one more space for formatting. And I think that's it. So let's go back to our tests right here. And this one is dragging to the selector, which would be this one right here. So this should stay the same. Okay, so this is drag to. This one should be drag to element. All right, let's run this and see if we got it to work. Move to requires an element. Did I not give it an element? Oh, that's right. So right here, this drag and drop requires a web element, and I'm currently giving it an element. So this would be the toElement.web element. Then same thing for this one. So toElement.web element, because we need to pass in Selenium objects, not my custom ones. So let's try again. Drag and drop. Do it, please. Please be nice. Did I do it? Nope. Is it working? Please work. Crap. So drag and drop. I forgot this on the hover too, the perform. Okay, let's try again. See, and we're just gonna, because of the test, we can just keep making tweaks and running the test over and over and over again until it works. So drag and drop. Do it. Drag and drop, please. Please drag and drop. Let's just make sure. Where's my test results, y'all? Right here. Pow. Yep, A and B still in their spots. Is there something I'm messing up on the drag part here? Let me look at that doc again. So source elements, action change driver, drag and drop, source element, destination element, find element, dot perform. Okay, so we grab the element, so grab this one, drag and drop, self dot element, web element, perform. I feel like I'm missing something here. Drag and drop, drag and drop. Yeah, source, target. Source, target. Let's look at something else. Okay, so here's 1, 2, the element and the target. Then action chains, drag and drop, the element, and then the target. Huh. See, I feel like I'm doing that, right? If any of the viewers, if any of you guys or any of you know kind of what I'm messing up on or missing, please let me know, because at this point I don't know what I'm doing. Drag and drop. Return self. Yeah, it says it performed it already. What? But it did not perform it. Lies. Another one that I saw someone do was like click and hold. Which technically, like when we were inspecting that the drag and drop function, it is doing a click and hold. So let's give this a try. Instead of depending on their drag and drop, let's see if we can do this ourselves. Yeah, see how it goes gray? So I'm definitely on it. It's just not doing the whip. Okay, well, let's give that a try. We just gotta keep trying stuff. Please? Maybe if you ask nicely, it'll do it. Action change, click and hold. Move to element, dot release, dot perform. It's not gonna release, huh? Thinks it's better than everyone. Okay, here we go. Oh, I'm not nervous. You're nervous. Well, poopers. All right, we'll look again. Drag and drop does not do any operation on Chrome. Well, I guess that is something I can actually check. I can check that pretty quickly. So if I, in my Pylenium.json, if I change this to just say Firefox, I mean, we can try this. We can see if it works for other places. So, see, so it is like it's turning it gray. So I think we have like the click and hold thing. Okay. Just keep trying things out. Oh crap! It's 1:47. Shoot! I ran out of time. I'm not gonna be able to finish this one. They got me, y'all. I got stumped. So I saved this. This is the JavaScript that is going to do the simulating of the drag and drop. And then inside of, where is it? Currently have Firefox. Let me put this back to Chrome. So now we're on Chrome. Inside of Elements, I needed to then get this D&D JavaScript and execute that. And apparently this is supposed to do the drag and drop, because before we were trying this in the previous episode. We were trying to say action chains, pass in the WebDriver, drag and drop from this element to this element, perform, but this does not work. And I scoured the internet for answers, trying to find out why it's not working. Is it an issue with Selenium? Is it an issue with the drivers or the browsers themselves? And it's kind of a mixture of both. So I went to the person who actually has the internet website. And I think I removed it actually. So let me go to the internet. So this gentleman is not here. So drag and drop. What we wanted to do was get this A element, drag it and drop it on B, which would then switch them, right? We have the tests for it. That way we can make sure it's working or not. So here's our test. Test drag to with selector. So visit the internet with drag and drop page. Get column A, drag it to column B, and then now column B should have the text of A. So it's just simulating this right here. So we had this. This is the starting position. Click and drag A to B. B should now have the text of A. That's it. And for the life of me, I can't figure it out. So this whole thing is the string that I need right here. So let's see if I can, if I run the test right now, I don't think this is going to work, because right now this is in the context of this file. But when I run my test, this test lives right here. So inside of test, it lives right here. So when I run the test, the context will be inside of this test folder, no longer in this element Pylenium folder. So I don't think this is going to work just the way it's set, but let's give it a try. So I think what I'll need to do is from that element.py file, find itself and its path, and then do /script/ yeah, see right here. No such file or directory. It doesn't see it. And that's what I thought, just because once I had to do this, I'm like, well. So in Python, the way that you get, let's see, Python get file, get this file's path. Let's do that. Of the current files directory. Sure. So import pathlib, the current file, parent.absolute. For the current working directory, see here for Python 2 and 3, this. We only care about this one then, because we're only using Python 3. So for the current working directory, path.absolute, but we kind of want this one. So we want the path of this file. So let's give that a try. So right here, pathlib, the current file, and this dunder, by the way, is a special function. So dunder file. So it's a special function. We want to get this current file, this current module, and it's going to grab its parent absolute. I don't know what that is. So let's hold it in a variable real quick. Path is equal to this, and let's put a breakpoint. Why are you mad, friend? Seems to have no effect. Oh. Does this not return anything? Return an absolute version of this path. This function works even if the path doesn't point to anything. Eh? Here, let's just hold it. And let's debug the test and let's check it out. I want so badly to get this to work. Then I can take this weekend in peace. So absolute, here's my path. into Pylenium, because that's the parent, right? So the element parent, and then from there I'd be able to go into scripts. Let me open this. So I'd be in Pylenium and just go /scripts, drag and drop. So we'll be able to do that, and then we just say path plus that as file. Okay, let's give that a try. Kill it. Kill it. So I shouldn't get an error there anymore. Let's run this test and see how far we get. Where are you? Right here. So unsupported operand types for Windows path and string. Oh, let's give that a try. So if I just stringify this, let's go to the end and pow. Now it's a string. Will it be okay with this? I don't know. Let's try. I will get the drag and drop to work. It will happen. Let's say what? Hold on. Breakpoint. That went too fast. I want to see it actually happen. Okay, so we should see A and B switch now. What? It's not switched. Oh, we haven't done it yet. I was like, why? Okay, let's go back. Yes! Oh, we did it. Oh, for the love. Yes. Just a moment of silence for the completion of this, because that took a while, but we got it. Holy cow. Yesterday I was defeated by the drag, but today I dropped on the drag. Or did I drag on the drop? Either way, drag and drop is done. Last thing I want to check is that it also works when I run it from the terminal. Yes. Because this is how I would run it from like the pipelines and whatnot, right? We'd run it this way. So let's do PyTest. I don't have that. So test drag to with selector. Okay, and just make sure that our file path is working correctly in this context too. And I think it is. Yes. Cyber high five, everybody. We did it. Lo hicimos. We did it. So this is the drag and drop JS that we had to have. This whole thing, we're leaving it in this JSON or JavaScript file. And then inside of here, I'm going to delete this just so it asks me to put it in the right place. Import pathlib. Man, holy cow. So we had to get the file, right? So here's the absolute path from this current file, element.py. From element.py, its parent is Pylenium. Then from there, we can go /scripts /dragandrop.js, read the file, and then grab this drag and drop JavaScript from the file. So now this is just a string of all of that stuff inside of the drag and drop.js. Then we can execute some JavaScript. We'll grab that entire massive file of JavaScript, and then we'll just add this to it. Then we'll pass in this web element and this element as well, and boom. So right now, this would only work for this website because these are hard-coded, right? We have our source, and then we have our target. But these are only going to work for that current page. So we need to make this a lot more dynamic. I want to see if we can just put in our current element, which would be, oh, actually, this would be arguments 0, because we're doing JavaScript. That's this one, the first argument. I won't do an F anymore. And then this one would be the to element, which would be this one, the second argument. So arguments, second one. All right, so we know that we got it to work with the hard-coded values. Now let's see if we can just do it with the element objects themselves, the source and the target. Let's try again and see if it works. Crossing my fingers. If this works, that was really easy. If this doesn't work, yes! Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. I'm very excited with that. Oh my gosh, that makes it so much easier. Holy smokes. That's nice. That's real nice. Okay. Whew. Yay. Okay. So that works. It seems I'm going to be doing this again right down here. Drag to element. Because it's the exact same thing. Let's see it. It's the exact same thing. But instead of me finding the to element, I already have the to element. Right? So to element. This would be to element.web element. But otherwise, it's the exact same piece. And that's what the second test is for. So notice the differences are really just these pieces right here. So I can grab an element and then drag to an element given its locator. Or I can say from this element and pass in another element instead of the locator. Just pass in the element and drag it to that one. So there's just two different ways of doing the drag and drop. Let's see if this one works. It does too. Sweet. All right. Wow, what a relief. That took me a long time to figure out, but we got it working. So what I want to do next is just make sure that this part here is essentially the same across both of them. These parts are different, so I can leave those. And I can leave these as well, but this part is the same for both of them. Let me copy these two pieces, path and with open. And we just have like a utils, new file, utils.py. And inside of here, I want to have a function, read script. Let's leave it like that for now. We'll paste this. Doesn't know what this is. Let's bring it in. Yep. Return the script. And this is just going to be a string. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Return the script. This will be just a string. We have the path, okay, with open scripts. Then we need the name of the file. So let's do, this is a file name. And then right here we have our F, get this part, and this is just wrapped inside of these curly braces and whatever the file name is. We'll read it as a file. We'll then get this script and then return it. That way we can pass in any JavaScript name. So JS file. Let's do JS file name, just so we know we're looking for a JavaScript here. Read JS from file. There we go. I like that a little better. So read JavaScript from file as a string. Perfect. Then args, we have our JS file name. And technically this would read, so get the, it's not really Java, so get the script string from a file in the scripts directory. There we go. That's really what it's doing, right? So get the script string from a file in the scripts directory. Because it doesn't, technically it doesn't have to be a JavaScript file, right? It can really be any file, just it has to be inside the scripts directory. So, yeah, so right now I'm saying read script from file, whatever the file name is. So file name. To read from. And let's put an example too. So that would be like read script from file, and then in here we'd put in like our drag and drop.js, and that would do it. Yeah, see? That's essentially how we would use it. But yeah, so with the extension, right, to read from, so if .js, if it's a JSON file or a JavaScript file. I think we're good here. All right, so let's use it inside of our element. All right, I don't need this anymore. Let me just comment it out for now. Zoom in a bit. Okay, then we have our D&D JavaScript. It's going to equal our utils dot read script from file. And then in here we just want our drag and drop.js. Import this pylenium.utils. Okay, so now that we have that, I don't need this anymore. Let's leave it there and run the tests just so we can make sure. This is my drag 2. This is the good thing about tests, is how do I know it works? I have a test for that. So let's make sure it works before I delete that commented out code. Beautiful. Okay, so I know it works. We can grab all of this unused commented code, get rid of all that, and there we go. Our function has been reduced to this now. So 2 element that we want to drag to our drag and drop JavaScript utils.read from this big old file, drag and drop.js. We have it in a different file just because it's a big JavaScript file. There's a lot going on. So read from that, grab all of that into a string. That's our drag and drop JavaScript. We'll then execute script against the browser using that massive thing. And then we'll append the element source. We're going to grab this element and drag it to this drop target, which is the second element. And that's done. So this function is good to go. Here we'll do the same thing. We'll grab this. We'll comment it out. We'll then have our D&D JavaScript. This is equal to utils.read from script file, and this was our drag and drop.js. And this one should be good as well. We'll run this test here just to make sure it is. Pretty confident it'll work, but seeing a green test makes me know, not assume it works, know it works. All right, so both of our tests are passing, which means I can get rid of this commented out code, and this function is like this now. It's beautiful. All right, you guys, we did it. We did it. I went a little bit over time. It's 1:36, but at least we finished it. So awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. All right. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. I got to get to another meeting right now, but send me either something here in the chat and I'll get to it, add it to our queue that we had in our board, or you can always just hit me up on the tweet skis on Twitter, just at Carlos Kidman, and either DM me there or even create a tweet with a challenge or a question and then just at me on it as well. Either way, I'm on a lot of the Slack groups too. So if you're on QA Utah, Slack me there. If you're on Ministry of Testing, Slack me there. If you're on Test Automation University, Slack me there. There's lots of places. And if you haven't already, another thing too, if you haven't already, please just click that follow button. Follow along. It does help us out. But with that, y'all, I hope you enjoyed your lunch. And please have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.